Sound of a cat crunching on kibble, amplified and in slow motion. Ah, that sound, the crunch, the satisfying crunch that tells you your little furry overlord is happily munching away. For years we've been told this sound is a good thing. A great thing even. We've been told it's the sound of teeth being scrubbed clean, of plaque being blasted away with every bite. It's the sound of responsible cat parenting, right? Sound of a record scratch, cut to a cat looking confusedly at the camera. But what if I told you that satisfying crunch might be a complete and utter lie? What if that kibble is less like a toothbrush and more like sticky candy for your cat's teeth? Are we accidentally setting up our feline masters for a future of painful dental problems? Today, we're blowing the lid off the great kibble conspiracy. We're going to find out if dry food is really ruining your cat's dental health. And trust me, the answer might shock you. Before we dive in, I want to know your little monster's name. Drop it in the comments below. Okay, before we put Kibble on trial, let's take a quick trip back in time. Picture your cat, not the one currently trying to knock your coffee mug off the table, but their great, 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 great to the power of 1,000,000 grand ancestor. This ancestor was a desert hunter, a tiny, ferocious, sand-dwelling predator. They weren't munching on little brown pellets manufactured in a factory. They were hunting, catching, and eating whole prey. Mice, lizards, birds. Think about what that entails. Tearing through skin, crunching on small bones, shearing through muscle and sinew. Their teeth are literally designed for that specific job. They are obligate carnivores, meaning their bodies are hardwired to run on a high-protein, high-moisture, meat-based diet. Their teeth are tiny, pointy daggers, made for gripping and tearing, not for grinding grains. This ancestral blueprint is super important because it's the key to understanding why a bowl of dry, starchy pellets might not be the dental superfood we've all been led to believe it is. So let's tackle the biggest myth of all. Dry food cleans your cat's teeth. Where did this idea even come from? Well, friends, it's a brilliant piece of marketing. It's simple, it makes sense on a superficial level, and it solves a huge problem for us humans. Let's be real, we hate brushing our cat's teeth. It's a battle of wills that usually ends with us bleeding and the cat plotting our demise from under the sofa. So a food that promises to do the job for us. Sign us up! The pet food industry saw this opening and ran with it, plastering bags with claims of tartar control and dental health benefits. They sold us an easy solution, a fire-and-forget way to handle a tricky part of pet care. It's an incredibly appealing idea. We get to feel like good pet parents, and our cats get a bowl of food they often find irresistible. But the problem with easy solutions is that they're often not the right solutions. This idea is so deeply ingrained that even some vets will casually repeat it. But when you start to dig into the actual science of how a cat's mouth works, the whole kibble as a toothbrush theory begins to fall apart faster than a cheap catnip mouse. To understand why this is a myth, let's use a human analogy. Imagine your dentist told you to stop brushing your teeth. Instead, he says, you should just eat a bowl of crunchy pretzels or granola every day to keep them clean. You'd probably find a new dentist, right? Because you know that's ridiculous. You know that crunchy, starchy foods don't scrub your teeth clean. In fact, they often leave behind a sticky residue of carbohydrates and sugars that bacteria love to feast on. Well, that is almost exactly what we're doing when we rely on dry kibble for our cat's dental hygiene. Kibble is, by its very nature, a hard, baked biscuit, made mostly of starch to hold it all together. It's the feline equivalent of a pretzel. Expecting it to clean a cat's teeth is like expecting a cookie to clean ours. The logic just doesn't hold up once you look past the clever marketing slogans. The very thing that makes kibble, well, kibble, is the high level of carbohydrates needed to create that extruded pellet shape. And as we're about to see, those carbs are public enemy number one for your cat's dental health. Now let's look at the actual mechanics. What happens when your cat bites down on a piece of kibble? We imagine a thorough scrubbing action with the pellet scraping against the entire tooth surface. The reality is not that. A cat's jaw is a simple hinge. It only moves up and down. It can't move side to side to grind like humans or herbivores can. Their pointy, dagger-like carnivore teeth are designed for piercing and tearing, not mashing. So when a tooth hits a piece of kibble, one of two things usually happens. First, and most commonly, the kibble shatters into tiny pieces on impact with the very tip of the tooth. There's no scraping, no cleaning action along the gum line where tartar actually forms. It's like trying to clean your floor by just dropping a brick on it. Second, and this is what many cats do, they just don't chew it at all. They swallow the kibble whole like little feathered vacuums. If you've ever had a cat vomit after eating too fast, you know what I'm talking about. You see those perfectly formed, undigested kibble pieces. If they're not even chewing it, there is 0% chance it's providing any dental benefit. But the biggest villain in this dental drama isn't the crunch, or lack thereof. It's the ingredients. To make those little dry pellets, you need a binder, a glue, to hold all the protein and fat together. That glue is almost always a high concentration of carbohydrates, things like corn, rice, peas, or potatoes. Cats, as obligate carnivores, have absolutely no nutritional requirement for carbohydrates. Their bodies are not designed to process them efficiently. And what happens when you introduce a bunch of carbs into a mouth? The enzymes in saliva start breaking them down into, you guessed it, sugars. This sugary, starchy residue coats the teeth and feeds the bad bacteria in the mouth. This bacterial party is what creates plaque, that gross, sticky film. And when that plaque isn't removed, it hardens into tartar or calculus. This is the hard, brownish stuff you see building up on teeth, especially near the gum line. So, ironically, the very food marketed to prevent tartar is made from the ingredients that help create the plaque that leads to it in the first place. It's a vicious cycle. Let's talk about that plaque and tartar for a second, because it's more than just a cosmetic issue or a cause of stinky breath. When tartar builds up along the gum line, it pushes the gums away from the teeth, creating little pockets. These pockets are a paradise for anaerobic bacteria, which thrive in low oxygen environments. This leads to inflammation of the gums, known as gingivitis. You might notice your cat's gums looking red, swollen, or even bleeding. If left untreated, gingivitis progresses to periodontitis, a much more serious condition. This is where the infection goes deeper, damaging the soft tissues and even the bone that supports the teeth. This is incredibly painful for your cat. It can lead to loose teeth, abscesses, and eventually tooth loss. And the scary part is that cats are masters at hiding pain. You might not know there's a serious problem until your cat is in agony. A cat that's suddenly picky about food or dropping it from its mouth isn't being a diva. They could be suffering from severe dental pain, and the high-carb diet fuels this entire destructive process. There's another major factor that often gets overlooked in the dry food debate: hydration. Let's go back to our desert-dwelling ancestor cat. They got most of their water directly from their prey, which is about 70 to 75% moisture. Because of this, cats evolved to have a very low thirst drive. They don't naturally feel the need to drink a lot of water. Now let's look at dry kibble. It typically contains only about 10% moisture. A cat eating an exclusively dry food diet needs to drink a significant amount of water to compensate and stay properly hydrated. And most of them just don't. This leads to a state of chronic, low-level dehydration for many cats. You might not see obvious signs, but their body is constantly functioning with less water than it needs. This affects everything from their kidneys to, you guessed it, their dental health. A dehydrated body is not going to prioritize creating a lot of saliva. It's trying to conserve water for more essential bodily functions. Why is saliva so important? Think of it as nature's mouthwash. Saliva plays a crucial role in maintaining oral health. It has antibacterial properties that help control the population of harmful bacteria in the mouth. It also helps to rinse away food particles and debris from the teeth and gums. When a cat is chronically dehydrated from a dry food diet, saliva production decreases. The mouth becomes drier, creating a more hospitable environment for bad bacteria to multiply and thrive. The natural rinsing mechanism is less effective, so that starchy, sugary residue from the kibble stays on the teeth longer, feeding the bacteria and accelerating the formation of plaque. So, not only does dry food provide the fuel for plaque in the form of carbs, but it also creates the perfect storm conditions for it to flourish by reducing the body's natural defenses. It's a 1-2 punch against your cat's dental health. A well-hydrated cat on a moisture-rich diet has a much better first line of defense against dental disease right there in their own mouth. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, but what about those special dental diets, the prescription kibble my vet recommended? That's a great question. These diets are an attempt by the pet food industry to address the known shortcomings of regular kibble. They typically work in one of two ways. First, they are often formulated with much larger than average kibble pieces. The theory here is that the cat is forced to chew these larger pieces, rather than swallowing them whole. As the tooth sinks into the oversized kibble, it supposedly creates a mechanical scraping action that helps to remove plaque. It's a bit like a squeegee effect. The second mechanism is chemical. Some dental diets are coated with a substance like polyphosphates that binds to calcium in the saliva. This makes the calcium less available to mineralize plaque into hard tartar. So in theory, these diets do seem to have some science behind them. They are an improvement over a standard, cheap, grocery store kibble. However, let's not get too excited. While these dental diets can be a step up, they are far from a perfect solution. Let's look at the oversized kibble idea first. Yes, it encourages chewing, which is better than swallowing whole, but it still only cleans the tip and part of the sides of the tooth. It does very little to address the most critical area, the gum line. Plaque and tartar, build up at and below the gum line, is what causes gingivitis and periodontal disease. The kibble rarely, if ever, reaches this area to provide any cleaning action. And what about the ingredients? These prescription diets are still, for the most part, high in carbohydrates. They still have all that starchy, sugary binder that feeds the plaque-causing bacteria. So while they might have a chemical coating to slow tartar formation, they are still made from the very ingredients that create the plaque in the first place. It's like eating a sticky caramel and then chewing a piece of sugar-free gum. It might help a little, but wouldn't it be better to just not eat the sticky caramel to begin with? Think of it this way. Dental diets are a less bad option, not necessarily a good one. They are a treatment designed to manage a problem that is often caused by the fundamental nature of dry, processed food itself. Many of the studies that prove the effectiveness of these diets are funded by the very companies that produce them, which can create a conflict of interest. And these studies often compare one dry food to another dry food, rather than comparing a dry food to a more biologically appropriate moisture-rich diet. They might show a 20% or 30% reduction in tartar compared to a standard kibble, which sounds great, but a 20% reduction in a huge problem is still a pretty big problem. It's a bandage on a wound that might require stitches. Relying solely on a dental kibble can give cat parents a false sense of security, making them think they've solved the dental issue when they've only slightly mitigated it. The underlying issues of high carbs and low moisture remain. So if dry food is the problem, what's the solution? Let's talk about the unsung hero of the cat food world, wet food. The most immediate and obvious benefit of canned or pouched wet food is moisture content. As we discussed, cats are designed to get their water from their food. A good quality wet food is typically 75 to 80% moisture, which closely mimics the natural prey diet. This keeps your cat properly hydrated without them needing to drink a ton of water from their bowl. This hydration is fantastic for their kidneys, their urinary tract, and of course, their dental health. A well-hydrated cat produces more saliva, which, as we know, is nature's mouthwash. It continuously rinses the mouth and helps keep bacteria in check. Right off the bat, you're creating a healthier oral environment just by switching the food type. You're supporting the body's natural defense systems instead of working against them. A hydrated mouth is a healthier mouth, full stop. Beyond the critical moisture content, let's look at the nutritional profile of wet food. In general, high-quality wet foods are much lower in carbohydrates than dry foods. They don't need all those starches and grains to hold them together in a specific shape. This means you're not constantly coating your cat's teeth in a sugary, starchy film. You are essentially starving the bad bacteria of their primary food source. Less fuel for bacteria means less plaque formation. Less plaque means less tartar buildup. Less tartar means a significantly lower risk of gingivitis and periodontal disease. It's a simple, logical chain of events. By feeding a diet that is high in protein and moisture and low in carbs, you are feeding a diet that is in harmony with your cat's biology. You're not asking their body to deal with ingredients it was never meant to process. It's one of the most proactive steps you can take to prevent dental issues from starting in the first place, rather than just trying to manage them after they've already begun. Now, some people might say, but wet food is soft. It can't clean teeth at all. And that's a common misconception. It's true that wet food doesn't provide any abrasive action, but as we've already established, the abrasive action of kibble is minimal to non-existent and largely a myth. The real benefit comes from what the food doesn't do. It doesn't stick to the teeth like a starchy paste. Imagine eating a piece of steak versus a mouthful of crackers. The steak doesn't leave a sticky residue behind. The crackers do. Wet food is the steak in this analogy. Because it's low in carbs, it doesn't create that sticky film for bacteria to feast on. So, while it's not scrubbing the teeth, it's also not actively contributing to the problem. It creates a neutral or even beneficial oral environment. The goal shouldn't be to find a food that scrapes teeth, but to provide a diet that promotes overall health and doesn't fuel the process of dental decay. Wet food excels at this by tackling the root biochemical cause of plaque, not just the physical symptoms. For those who want to take it a step further, there is the world of raw and fresh food diets. Now, this isn't for everyone, and it's crucial to do thorough research to ensure the diet is balanced. But from a purely dental perspective, it offers some unique benefits. A properly prepared raw diet often includes chunks of meat and soft, edible bones. The act of tearing and chewing on these fibrous meat chunks provides a natural flossing action that is far more effective than shattering a piece of kibble. It helps to scrape plaque off the tooth surface in a way that processed food simply can't replicate. Furthermore, raw meat contains natural enzymes that can help break down the bacterial biofilm in the mouth. It is the closest we can get to replicating that ancestral diet of chomping through whole prey. Again, this requires careful planning to be safe and nutritionally complete, but it's an option that many cat parents have found to be incredibly effective for improving and maintaining their cat's dental health. Okay, so we've established that diet is the foundation, but what are the actionable, hands-on things we can do? The undisputed gold standard of at-home dental care for cats is, dramatic drum roll, ews, brushing their teeth, sound of a cat hissing. Yes, I know. I heard that collective groan. For many, it sounds like an impossible task, a one-way ticket to getting your hands shredded. But it is, without a doubt, the single most effective thing you can do to prevent dental disease. Daily brushing physically removes plaque before it has a chance to harden into tartar. You need to use a pet-specific toothpaste. Human toothpaste is toxic to them, and a very small, soft-bristled brush or finger brush. The key is to start slow. Just let them lick the toothpaste off the brush. Then, gently touch the brush to a tooth. Gradually build up to brushing a few teeth at a time. Make it a positive experience with lots of praise and treats. It might take weeks or even months, but many cats can learn to tolerate it. Even brushing a few times a week is infinitely better than not brushing at all. If toothbrushing truly feels like mission impossible, and your cat transforms into a tiny furry demon at the mere sight of a toothbrush, don't despair. There are other tools in our arsenal. Let's talk about dental treats and chews. Now you have to be a smart shopper here. Many so-called dental treats are just slightly different shaped kibble, full of the same carbs we're trying to avoid. Look for treats that have a seal of approval from the Veterinary Oral Health Council, or VOHC. This means the product has been scientifically proven to reduce plaque or tartar. These often have a specific texture that helps with mechanical cleaning or contain ingredients that work chemically. Another option is dental water additives. These are tasteless, odorless liquids you add to your cat's water bowl. They contain enzymes or other ingredients that help to break down plaque and freshen breath. They are a passive, easy way to add a layer of protection, but they should be seen as a supplement to, not a replacement for, more active care. Another great option, especially for cats who love to chew, is to offer them raw, meaty bones or dental chews. And I want to be very clear here. Never, ever give a cat cooked bones. Cooked bones become brittle and can splinter, causing serious injury. We're talking about raw, non-weight-bearing bones, like chicken necks or wingtips. The act of gnawing on these provides incredible mechanical cleaning. The bone scrapes against the teeth, all the way up to the gum line, physically removing plaque in a way no kibble can. It's also fantastic for jaw strength and provides mental stimulation. It's like giving your little carnivore a job to do. If raw bones aren't your thing, there are various dental chews on the market designed for cats. Again, look for ones that are digestible and specifically designed to reduce tartar. This can be a great way to leverage your cat's natural instincts to help keep their teeth clean and healthy. Just always supervise your cat with any kind of bone or chew. Let's also address the financial side of this. Some people stick with dry food because it's often cheaper and more convenient than wet or raw food, and that's a valid concern. However, it's a classic case of pay me now or pay me later. A bag of kibble might be cheaper today, but the potential long-term cost of ignoring dental health can be astronomical. A professional dental cleaning at the vet, which requires general anesthesia, can cost anywhere from hundreds to well over $1,000, especially if tooth extractions are needed. And that's just for one procedure. Cats with advanced periodontal disease may need these cleanings regularly. So, spending a little extra on a higher quality, moisture-rich diet now can be seen as an investment in your cat's future health, potentially saving you from massive vet bills and saving your cat from significant pain and suffering down the line. It's about shifting our perspective from short-term savings to long-term wellness. No matter what you feed or what home care you provide, nothing replaces the need for regular veterinary checkups. Your vet is your partner in your cat's health. During a routine exam, they will look inside your cat's mouth to assess the health of their teeth and gums. They can spot early signs of gingivitis or tartar buildup that you might miss. They can give you a grade for your cat's dental health and recommend when a professional cleaning under anesthesia might be necessary. This is crucial because a professional cleaning is the only way to remove tartar that has already formed and to clean below the gum line where the real damage occurs. Don't be afraid to have a conversation with your vet about nutrition. Ask them about the link between carbohydrates and dental disease. A good vet will be happy to discuss the pros and cons of different diets and help you create a comprehensive dental care plan that works for you and your furry companion. Be your cat's advocate. So, let's put it all together. The idea that dry, crunchy kibble cleans your cat's teeth is, for the most part, a pervasive marketing myth. The high carbohydrate content actually provides the fuel for plaque-causing bacteria, while the low moisture content leads to dehydration and reduced saliva production, creating the perfect environment for dental disease to thrive. The crunch itself offers very little, if any, effective cleaning action, especially at the critical gum line. While special dental diets might be a marginal improvement, they don't address the core issues. The foundation of good dental health starts with a species-appropriate, high-moisture, low-carbohydrate diet, like a quality wet or raw food. This foundational approach, combined with active at-home care like toothbrushing, dental chews, and regular vet checkups, is the true path to protecting those precious pearly whites. It requires a bit more effort than just scooping some brown pellets into a bowl, but our cats are worth it. So, now you know, the truth is out. That satisfying crunch isn't the magic tooth cleaner we all hoped it was. In fact, it might be part of the problem. It turns out that what's happening on a biochemical level in your cat's mouth is far more important than the texture of their food. Now, the point of this video isn't to make you feel guilty. We all do the best we can with the information we have. But now that you're armed with this knowledge, you can be an even better advocate for that little furry creature currently sleeping on your clean laundry. They rely on us for everything, and even though they pretend to be independent, regal overlords, they need us to make smart choices for their health. Because at the end of the day, despite the 3 a.m. zoomies and the occasional hairball on the new rug, we adore them, and keeping them healthy, happy, and pain-free is the best way we can say, I love you back. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share it with a fellow cat parent who needs to hear this. And for my final question, what's the one small change you're thinking about making for your cat's dental health after watching this? Let us know in the comments below.